Alright, welcome back to Planet Crafter. There's been a little bit of growth. I've put another of the tier 4 guys out here, and I was completely wrong. This doesn't do 8, this only does 5 machines. It's the tier 2 versions that do 8. So that was a little bit out there, but I did put another couple of rockets up, so we got some heat going up, but the pressure is still going up something chronic, and as you can see, the MTIs are going up something right royal. Right, there is a couple of other things that came up. We've got the T2 ore extractor. That's the one that allows you to go get some very specific things, which is quite helpful. But to build those, you need these, and thankfully the got more than 750 MTIs, and I needed 750 to get there. And obviously we need that to build that sucker. So what we're going to do is going to go grab some food. Actually, I've got some food on me. Got some water on me, and I've got enough O2. And we're going to go into the cave over there that has that weird little door in there. And I don't think this episode, but maybe next episode, we're actually going to start the storyline that leads us up to why that door is there. So let's do a runner. But it basically starts off with a message. I don't know if we've got that message yet. I'll have to actually check just to see. If we come on. Look at all this. Everything is getting flooded. Up we go. But still, nice blue skies. Rains every now and again. And what we need to do is find a place where we can stick this sucker. And we want to have enough so we can put a whole pile of them together and have them going all the way along here, because we're going to want a bucket load of these damn things. So let's stick you there. Now if we look at this, look at the size of that sucker. Now that will get other things. The tier 2 one allows you to get the super alloy. It doesn't mean that it's only going to be super alloy though. You are going to get other things in there. It's not until you get to the tier 3 that you can just say, I only want you to get this, but we're going to get some super alloy out of this, and we desperately need that. Now these suckers, they take almost 200 energy per second. So I have put a couple of more tier 2 reactors down, and that's given us, what are they, 365-ish or something like that each? So we got plenty of power and some left over to do other things. I don't think we're going to get back there before I need to slurp on some O2 though. Come on, giddy up. No, we're definitely not going to make that. Anyway, I'll see you when we get back. Now, if you remember rightly, a couple of episodes ago, I really wanted that, but there's no way we could do the zeolite or the methane cartridges. Now, zeolite has actually been raising its, well, I wouldn't say ugly head, because it's not really an ugly head, is it? But if you fly around, every now and again, you'll come up against these things. Zeolite, we can now get the zeolite, but we don't have any methane yet. But thankfully, we can make those. So, and I only need one. I'm not going to go around and pick up a whole parcel of the stuff, but if we come in here and we have a look at the gas extractor, oh blast, I do need some more. Let me go grab some more zeolite, and we've got super alloy and the iridium rods that we could, so that's no issues, but I'll just go grab some zeolite. Alright, well thankfully that didn't take too long. So we need the gas extractor. They have to be built outside, but we're just going to stick them out here for the time being. Well, thankfully that didn't take too long. There we go. So let's just stick this on now. Now, if we go into here, as you can see, we can now pin 3 items. It'd be nice if it was 4. It isn't though. It'd be nice for more. Sometimes you want more. But it'll give us a bit more. So a little bit more tech and a little bit more, I don't know, ease of life for later stuff. Well, what are we up to next, I say? Well, we're about to get the main story. Well, it's main story. Yeah, I suppose it is the main story, really, isn't it? And this is a message from Riley. I've conducted a deep scan of the planet and something is off. I'm getting strange geological signatures and incoherent topographical data near your location. Try to get to this place. Now, if you'll notice, you've got some coordinates down here, and you've also got coordinates down here as well, so you can actually find exactly where you need to be. Use the bottom left corner of your interface to find your way around. Well, oddly enough, I've been there, and I've actually, like I said, I've done Prime before, so I know where we're supposed to be going. We're going to need some more O2. So, let us grab some cobalt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And let's make a bucket load. Oop, wrong one. I don't want to die doing this. Oh, so that is way more O2. We're going to take a whole pile of water with us. And also, we're going to take a box. So let me get that, and then we'll be right back. Okay, so we're going to be heading off through that cave up the top there. And then we're going to go into that back valley. Actually, it's probably going to be easier if we go through the original osmium cave that's over there. So, let me get there. And then you can see what I'm... Now, if you remember the message that we got, minus 248.93. Don't worry about the middle one because that's the Y coordinates. But obviously it's going to be a little lower than what we are now. But we're at 231. And if we wander down here, there's this little underground area. And there's a whole passel of stuff down here. Now, every now and again, you're going to find these things around. Read message. This underground cave is a blessing for us wardens. Wardens? We don't know anything about wardens yet, but we're about to find out. It has a lot of resources and is underground, allowing us to stay hidden from outer space. This planet has been chosen really carefully, and now I understand why. I can't wait to start building our settlement and fulfilling our destiny. A warden. No year thing, though. And look, there's this sucker here. But what we're going to do first off, because we're going to spend a little bit of time in here, is we're going to build our box, and then just get our O2 bag. There's not much in there that you can collect, but there is some stuff. So let's go drink something. We don't need to eat yet. Now you'll see that we're missing something. In other words, we have to search around this area to find something to stick in there. And look at that. It's a completely different shape from everything that we've had. So, let's go and have a search, shall we? Oh, there's a box up here as well. Anything of interest that I want? That and that. Yeah, I can probably come back for all the rest of that later. In fact, I probably will want the aluminium at some point. Anyway. That I'm definitely going to get. Oh, look at this. Another pressure multiplier fuse. And a heat multiplier fuse. So they are definitely going to help us get the TI going faster and faster and faster. Aha! And here, look at this. Minus 464, minus 40, and 97. Well, that tells you where the next place is you need to go. But we're going to want that. Because now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our box. which is over here, and then we're going to stick it in that, I don't know, what would you call it, a plinth? Yeah, plinth will do, won't it? Sounds like a nice enough word for what we need to use it as. But there's a water wheel. I mean, if you look at this, you think to yourself, well, spacefaring race building that? What the hell's going on? Let's get some O2, and we'll go stick our nice shiny new thing in here. Ooh, the plot thickens. Check this out. Okay, now if you come here, and as we can read this message too. We were struck by the resemblance at first. We were almost exactly the same. Our scientists told us it was because our celestial bodies were identical in every way. So our evolution, whilst independent, was very similar. It was like meeting a cousin you never knew you had. They even called us brothers. When they started to land on Treha, a few spaceships turned into dozens, and slowly our worries grew. Our main differences were hidden deep inside. Biologically we were identical, but our minds had been shaped differently, by fate or by nature. The fact is that when we realized it, it was already too late. Another warden. I'm really worried that my graphics card might be going tits up. And over here, after all those years, all the suffering, we decided to leave our home soil, to go as far away as possible and build a new home, far from the terror, far from the strife, far from them, to stay hidden and live our lives as we had for centuries. We carefully chose somewhere we could be safe, gathered the last of our kind in our biggest vessel, and on a fateful night we left, fleeing their never-ending insatiability more than themselves. Doesn't sound like they've had a good time, does it? So there are a couple of places we could go. And again, there's another altar with another coordinate. So let's take a screen pick of that one. In fact, I'll have to go back and make a screen pick of the other one so we've got it as well. And if we come through here, check that out. Don't jump off of here. Not a good idea. But look at that. Now, remember that thing about the big ship that they left in? There is the big ship. Oddly enough, those conning towers up there look exactly like the one with the big ship, doesn't it? But you can't get there. I've tried flying there. You just fall down and you die. So don't do that. Unless you want to die, of course. Then it's pretty much everything that's in here. So one of the things that we're going to want to do is, like I said, grab the coordinates. Oh, we've gone too far. There we go. To the other one. Take a screen cap of that other one. And then go and have a look at those coordinates. We've already been to one. Remember that door? That door is where we want to go next. But what we'll do is we'll come back to that little island. We'll grab a screenshot of those coordinates as well, because we are going to want to visit all of these things. There we go, just over here. There we go, and F12. Okay, I'll just bring you back because one of the best things that's just arrived has just turned up. And that is, see, there's massive, normally there's a couple of things coming down. Well, these, if I can see them, are all super alloy. And they disappear relatively quickly, so it's a good thing to come out and get them as soon as you can bloody well find them. Does make it a little bit harder to pick stuff up, but that's alright. And these happen every now and again, so you Come on, pick it up. And like I say, they do disappear relatively quickly. Again, you don't really want to be caught out by one of those things. They will damage you quite badly. Oh, there's one. There's another one running down there. There's another couple down the bottom. And you'll be running after them and they'll just all disappear. Give me those. So now look, we've got all of those instead. And by the time I get back and empty my inventory, they'll have already gone. So unfortunately, there's not really much point in worrying about going back and getting them. Because it's only about 3 or 4, maybe not even 3 or 4 minutes that they survive. And look at that, we've already got more super alloy. But that's not what we're here for, is it? Actually, I don't want the heat multiplier fuse on me. Dump that in there along with the pressure. And let's go again and have a look at the cave that's over that way. Alright. Alright, well we're at the super alloy cave. And if we look in here, look at all this wonderful super alloy. Right, well if you notice, look now there's, see where those blue, or the shiny lights were? We've now got this. And if we look at the bottom left, that is pretty damn close to the I think it was 964175-ish. From the screen caps that we took inside that other cave. And if we click on that, put that in there, look, another door opens. Now we are on a bit of a timeline, so I only have 4 bits of O2. And once you get to a certain point, you can't fly anymore. So there's a couple of places we can go. There's one in here, which will give us another warden's key. There are no coordinates here, so that kind of leads you to believe that the other coordinates you got are going to be useful. Which is why screen caps are an absolutely amazing idea. And as we wander through here, we can see there's some ancient buildings. Kind of weirdly blue and gold, but very Indian looking. So let's go have a look around here, shall we? So there's nothing in this building. There's no way that we can see to get through through the roof or anything. But if we come into this room, there's some wooden scaffolding. Why an ancient thing? I think they're using wood, I don't know. And as you can see, there's something up there. But there's also, look at this. So let's grab that box because we've already lost 1 seed, remember? And read this message. Generations have passed. It's a great migration. But we will not forget our story, and the knowledge is carefully passed to every one of our younglings. Sound like Jedis, doesn't it? Well, modern Jedis. Good Lord, they did not make a mess of that. Our masters watched their evolution closely. We now see how primitive they were, and yet so powerful. Ironically, their destructive nature caused them to expand even further, and little by little they increased their reach, getting closer and closer. We thought we were safe this far away, but now we need to find a way to avoid meeting them again. We won't make the same mistake as the first time. A warden. So who's out to get these buggers? Well, I mean, it's a bit of a silly question because I actually know who's out to get them. Right, well, that is that building sorted. As you can see, we've got that building over there, and there's a heck of a lot to run around. So what we need to do is we need to look at this one here, and that will give us another warden's key. And if we have a look around, There's another way of getting up there, so the only real way that we can see so far is to go up here. And have a look around and try and find a way of getting up, because we did see that scaffolding going all the way across there. Thankfully, I know where that scaffolding is, so this will save me some O2. Unless I decide to throw myself off the edge. Up we go. Now, not much there, nothing there, but as you can see there's more scaffolding. And this goes, ooh, look at that. Another one of these strange looking things. This, we have no idea what that's supposed to do yet. Again, don't jump off there. It won't end well. I'm just looking down at my O2 and thinking, did I bring enough? Hope so. Okay, orbital drainage, defense device, observation log. The device is working as intended and our tests are conclusive. If the ones calling themselves humans, so it was us. We drove them away. Ever approach its planet will drain their ships of energy and prevent them from communicating. Our presupposition is that the device will effectively reduce their efforts to approach this part of the infinitude, leading them to spread elsewhere if they continue to do so. Our calculations are conclusive. This will give us at least a few hundred years of quietude. So yeah, we are the cause of their issues. Yeah, not great, eh? We do have a tendency to screw a load of things up, don't we? And as we can see, look at that. Let's take a screen cap. We'll grab that one. And that is pretty much everything that's around here. But like I said, don't jump off of anything, because you will find that you don't have a jetpack anymore. You will break your legs and more than likely die. Up and around. I'm rushing this. I don't want to go through too much O2. Unless I want to have some O2 left at least anyway. And there is one of their little, I don't know, you can't really call it a city. Some of their buildings. There are more buildings around. But yeah, that's... Obviously, someone was running from us. We were a bit too loud and brash, maybe? That wouldn't surprise me. We do tend to be a bit loud and brash, don't we? But, hey, I mean, loud and brash is sometimes okay. Whoa, almost. I went to have a look there and thought, no, don't run over that. And let's get the hell out of here, because we've got other places to go. O2's getting low. Right, let's bugger off. You do get hitched up on some of these steps, so remember to jump. Now you can't take that one out anymore. You can't even say it's all locked in. So you can't save them up. Look, it's even getting grass inside here now. And there's our box. So let's go up in there. Right, what don't we need? Don't really need any more of those. Really want that. We can drink some water. And let's eat some food. And that should hopefully give us all of that. Now let's have a quick check. How much more has this come along? We've got a load more. That's alright. Right, let's head back. And we'll dump all of this in a box. We'll see when we get there. Alright, well, we're back at base. Managed to get here okay. We've got another couple of some more of these. I've actually got so much super alloy now that I've actually needed to put all the excess in here. Yay! Got more than we had before. Well, now that I've got that miner over in the other place, I don't need to worry so much and gripe so much about losing so much super alloy. Because there was that one that I died when I went over to those guys in there and I fell off one of the ledges and there wasn't a cracking of a leg, it was just an instant death. And then there was the bit where I was pretty damn sure that I'd pressed escape to pause the game, only to come back after going to the supermarket, making tea, to find that I'd probably died about 4 or 5 times and lost all of the stuff that I'd gotten from that big ridge line that's just behind this thing up here. Plus also, missing the seed as well, which is kind of annoying. But we now have another one of these. So what we're going to do, I'm going to make this a quick one because kind of had enough today. Kind of a little bit peeved from all the hell that's been going on. And I don't want to deal with it. I really don't. So that will push up the O2 again. So now we're at 2.2, which is, I think we were at 1800 last time or something like that. As you can see, we're now getting much, much higher on the terraformation. We've got a 1 giga TI. And if we look into here, the only thing is the tier 3 ore extractor. That's the one that we can tell it only extract this. So which is handy. We've got nuclear fusion generator. Yeehaw! Definitely want one of those. Yeah, that produces a massive amount of power. But that's like 750. I'm going to call it micro kelvins. It could be milli, but I think it's micro. But once you get those produce a huge, and I do mean a huge amount of power. They do cost a fair whack of, if I remember rightly, it's 5 pulsar and 4 super alloy. But since we can get super alloy anytime now, that's not a problem. This guy is a tier 2 machine optimizer. You can, rather than just the 1 fuse, you can fit 3 fuses in that, and that does up to 8 machines. So that can massively increase your output of all sorts of things. Now, currently the only 2 things that we have are pressure multipliers and heat multipliers. So that is these suckers here, and for the heat, and those suckers there for the drills for the pressure, which is going to even speed things up even more. T4 heater opens at 37 parts per billion. It's ppbs now, not ppqs. And then we've got tree spreaders, water life collectors. We've just got the T3 exoskeleton. Don't really need that at the moment. But then we've got an air filter as well. But that also gets reduces the amount of oxygen. And it depends also, as it says, it depends on the level of terraformation. And as you go through, it'll get more, less and less and less. So we're currently 1.28 GTI, so there's a little way to go. As you can see, that number is not going up very fast, which means that we're going to need to dump a whole pile of rockets into space. Auto crafters, really nice things to have around. Incubators, now we can incubate lava, and we'll be making life. And there's a water filter, look at that, allows you to drink directly from lakes, so you won't generally have to carry any water around with us anymore. Got teleporters. Oh, yeah, you can zip zap from one place to another. Tier 3 tree spreaders. And if we go further into here, we've got osmium rods, fusion energy cells. Now remember we went through those wrecks, and there was the fusion thing, you had to stick something in. That is what you need to stick in. You stick one of those in, it opens the doors, and you get to see more places. And then we've got drone stations. Yay, you can get drones, and you can program them, because if we look in, let's say, this box here, Currently you can't see it, but there'll be another thing that pops up that allows you to say, I want to demand iron. And then you can go to other machines and you say, I want you to supply iron. So the drone will happily fly off, pick up the iron from the supply crate, and then bring it back to anything that demands iron. And do I have any water on me? Yes, do. So that is really good. You just can't see that button because we haven't got the drones up yet. It only comes available there. We've got T4 exoskeletons, we've got aquariums, we've got mutagens, circuit boards. Now remember that whole thing when I said we need a tier 2 deconstruction chip to break down the computers so we can get circuit boards? Well, you will eventually be able to make them. But that's 160 GTI, so that's a fair way away. And as we go further through, we got pulsar. We can make pulsar. And you've been making quite a bit over a period of time. Portal generators. This allows you to go visit different places. And they're quite good because you can get a load of the pulsar. You get lots of other... You do get a lot of fuses when you go through those. Tier 6 backpack. More room. Tier 4 mutagen. Amphibian farms. Frog eggs. As we go through, animal shelters. We will be able to make our own animals, which is going to be cool. Extraction platform, how we get out of here. Solar system screen, and an interplanetary travel rocket. That is new from what I saw last time. So that to me, it means that is going to be the way we get to the other planets and the moons. Now if we click on this one here, there's also a whole pile of other stuff we can get our hands on. Plant rockets. That will increase the amount of well, as it says there, gives a global generation bonus by spreading bacteria, so it ups your bio rating. We've got a higher level. They're great because those suckers, they allow you to grow food a lot quicker. And you got more tree spreaders, tier 5 heaters, and tier 5 drills, insect spreaders. You're firing insects into space. And I understand why humans have this fascination of shooting animals into space. I mean, the Russians did it with that dog. What was her name? Laika. Yeah, that was kind of strange. Then you've got things like beehives. Beehives are great because they will produce honey, and you can use honey to make high quality food, which will give you a much higher, because if we look at, I've got some here anyway, that restored health 60. I think from memory the honey is like about another 20 on top of that, and there's loads and loads and loads of other stuffs that we can get our mitts on, but it's going to take a little while. T4 jetpacks. As you go through, as you can see, there's a fair whack we need to do, but this is all going to take biomass, plants, then insects, so we're going to have to start doing some growing, and that's not too much of a worry. Anyway, like I said, this is going to be a short one. It's been a bit of a busy day, and I got home late from work, so I'm going to need to get a few other things done, so I'm going to see you in the next one. All right, you all take care now.